Okay, sorry. I needed something to drink. I was dying of thirst, like, right when I pressed play. So, anyways, what up, you guys? It is Hailey, and welcome back to my channel. So, this video today is going to be continuing the series I was making before of movies to watch during quarantine. Technically, people are not really in quarantine. I know some people are, like, self-quarantining or whatever, but we are still supposed to be social distancing, so this video is going to be called Movies to Watch While Social Distancing on Amazon Prime. I know I mentioned maybe doing Amazon Prime, and the other day I was on there looking for something to watch before I went to bed, and I realized, hey, they have actually a lot of good movies right now, like a lot of classics and just good shit all around, so hence the video. Also, before I start, you may have noticed this new beauty on my arm, so my shirt's really not going to show it that much, but it's a hand. It's one of those like occult looking like Victorian hands holding this beautiful fan. I did make a post about it on my Instagram, so check that out if you're interested in seeing it. And the reason I'm mentioning that is recently, like within the last year, I was getting a lot of requests to do like a tattoo diaries type of video where I go over my tattoos, explain them, show them all, and just all of that. And at the time, I felt like I did not have nearly enough tattoos to do a video like that and it be even exciting. So the past like month or so, I've acquired some new babies on me, like this one, and in I want to say like 2 weeks, I'm getting one finished. Like I'm in the process of getting one, and then I'm getting a whole new one on my arm too. So I was thinking in a few weeks of actually filming that tattoo diaries video. So let me know if you guys still want to see that. I was getting quite the request, like quite the amount of requests to do that. So I'm sure you guys still will, but I thought I would mention that because that's something kind of exciting. But yeah, also real quick, look at my nails. They are the cutest thing ever. They're little hearts. And I don't know, my nail lady just like slays all my nail looks that I want. So I wanted to show them on this video real quick before I get them done in a couple weeks. So let's get started. As always, the iPad is gonna be my best friend during this because I have a horrible memory. Okay, so first on this list is my favorite movie in the entire world. That is no exaggeration. My dog is literally named after this movie. This movie is Sweeney Todd. This movie is just literally like the best movie on earth to me. It has been my favorite movie for over 10 years. I will never like replace this movie ever. So it has Johnny Depp in it, so that's already a reason to go watch it if you haven't seen it. But one thing I will mention, it is a musical, and some people are just like, fuck no, I am not watching a musical. Nope. And hear me out, a lot of people that like this movie and have watched it don't like musicals. It is a musical. It's not like, oh, well, it's not that much of one. No, it's a musical. But people have been like, it just feels different than like most musicals. So if that turns you off of it altogether, maybe just give it a chance, see if you like it. But I'm not even a musicals person. Like I like a few of them. Like there are a couple musicals that are my favorite movies, and then I'm not like huge on them, but this is my favorite movie of all time. So I can't hype this movie up enough. Literally go watch this movie when you are done with the video if you haven't seen it, because it's my everything. Also, you can kind of right by my jigsaw right there, I have a Sweeney Todd straight edge razor right there, so love it. The next movie is a classic, and honestly, people that don't even like horror movies really, really like this movie, and that movie is Silence of the Lambs. It has Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter is really cool. It feels kind of like a mystery drama type of movie too, so if you're into stuff like that, this would be a good movie for you. I recommend this to people that kind of want to get into horror movies, but they get scared easily. Like this one's just more that type of mystery drama vibe, so it's a must watch. A lot of people I know, like I said, that don't even like horror movies just love this movie, so give it a watch. Next movie, I'm pretty sure everyone, I cannot talk. I can never talk when I film. Everyone on earth has probably already seen these, but if you haven't, here's your chance to actually go watch them. And that is Friday the 13th, so it's the original with Jason. Everyone knows who Jason Voorhees is. I like movies like this, honestly, to put on while I'm just, like, doing day-to-day activities, like when I'm cleaning my room or if I'm, like, doing my makeup or stuff like that. So, really thrilled this is on here. And the next movie is another classic, Hellraiser. This movie is actually, I would say, one of my favorite movies, like, of that genre, like that era. And some people are like, Hellraiser, the original, is cheesy as hell, and I disagree. I definitely think that you can see some of, like, the effects being really dated, but besides that, it's still, like, something about that still has, like, a charm to it. So it's a really, really great movie. Pinhead and the Cenobites are so cool, so they're just really, really, I don't want to say scary, but they're, like, I mean, they're creepy as fuck. So if you haven't watched this movie, I highly recommend it. And the next movie, I'm not even going to go on about that much because I mentioned it literally like a week or two ago in my last video, but it is on Prime. It's on Prime, so if you haven't watched it, The Strangers Pray at Night. This movie just, The Strangers in general hold such a special place in my heart. I actually got a tattoo of one of them, so that'll be one of the tattoos that I show. And this movie is everything, so I'm not going to get into it too much, but it's on here. This movie is my favorite of, like, you know, the classic horror movies, like the black and white ones. This is my favorite out of those for some reason. I don't know why. This movie is just so comforting for me. Like, it feels super, super homey. Like, I love watching it when it's raining and just making a snack and, like, getting cozy in bed. And usually I fall asleep because this movie just comforts me so much. And this movie is House on Haunted Hill. It has Vincent Price, and I don't know why. It's just, a lot of people have been like, it's so damn cheesy, which it is. I mean, it's a classic. What can you really expect? But I really, really love it. And I was actually thrilled when I realized it was on here because I was like, yes, I can watch this to go to bed, like, every night and be happy. So this next movie is My Friend Dahmer. And so I always butcher the name of it, so I'm not going to even say it. But you know, the one with Zac Efron, the Ted Bundy movie. This is kind of similar to that, but not as good. And that's kind of okay to me because with these true, like, real life murderer movies, they have to be really careful where they're stepping when they film these, in terms of, like, they shouldn't be disrespectful to any actual victims at any point, and showing certain things can definitely give that vibe. So I would actually prefer them be more careful on them than, you know, be disrespectful or bring up, like, trauma for family members or anything. So this movie, when I say that, I mean, it's like, it feels a little lackluster. Like, it does feel like it's missing something, like a lot of action, but I really like it because I have mentioned before, I really like true crime, like serial killer documentaries type of stuff, because I like when they kind of go through and, like, explain, like, what their lives were, what made them so fucked up, and just that kind of thing. And this movie is really good at, like, the history of him, if that makes sense. It also has Alex Wolff from Hereditary, and I love him. He's a really great actor, so that was kind of cool. But I did just want to mention that it isn't the most, like, action-packed thing if you're wanting to watch something, like, super gory or something super crazy, but like I said, that's perfectly okay to me. This movie was a favorite of mine when I was, like, in 6th grade. I don't know why my mom took me to see it, and I just really liked it after that, and it's still pretty good. This movie is, like, crazy, so it's like a zombie movie. There's some really cool scenes in it that are definitely worth watching. So this movie has Daniel Radcliffe, and honestly, I feel like this creeped out a lot of my generation when we were young. Like, when it came out, we were, like, freaked out, and that is The Woman in Black. This movie's still really good. Like, it just has a really creepy vibe to it, and I'm actually thrilled that it's on here. So go watch it if you haven't. These next two movies, and I say next two because they are in a series of movies, are two of my favorite movies in the entire world, and they just hold such a special place in my heart, and that is House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. So there are 3 of these movies. The last one, 3 from Hell, is not on anything right now. I think it literally just was, and they replaced it with these. But I would recommend still watching these if you haven't seen any of them. Watch these first. They are the first ones, and then jump to the 3rd one. But I'm gonna give a disclaimer: these movies are not everyone's cup of tea. So they're definitely horror movies, but there's just something so different about them. Rob Zombie directed them, so that'll give you a good idea already. Like, if you don't like Rob Zombie movies, you're not gonna like these movies because they're the epitome of a Rob Zombie movie. And they just, like, I've heard people be like, I don't know, they didn't scare me. It was just a bunch of, like, freaks, like, running around and doing their own thing. And that's kind of what the movie is. So if that's not your cup of tea, don't watch it. But I love these movies with my entire heart. So them being on here is awesome. And I think it gives everyone a chance that has wanted to see them a chance to watch them. So this movie I'm putting on here simply because you can watch it if you were like me and didn't want to see it in theaters because you thought it was going to be really bad. This movie is Child's Play, the remake that came out, like, was it last year? Yeah, in like 2019 it came out. And this movie, I'm going to already say, is not the best thing on earth. Chucky looks whack as hell. If you have seen what he looks like, it's horrifying because they just butchered him so bad. Mark Hamill from Star Wars actually voices him, which that was like a redeeming quality for some people, but not me. I was actually really disappointed that Brad Dourif wasn't voicing him, because how are you going to have a Chucky movie without the voice of Chucky? So this movie is an entirely different premise than the original Chucky and Child's Play and all of those in that franchise that we're used to. Like, it is completely different. And with that being said, this movie wasn't the worst thing I've ever watched. Like, it wasn't great, but it definitely was better than I expected. And honestly, I just think I would have liked it a lot more if they didn't even associate it with Chucky. Like, they should have just made it its own movie, came up with like a new name for the doll, done something else, and I think that it would have been actually decent. But it is worth watching for sure, and I watched it, and like I said, my expectations were already pretty low, so I was like, all right, it wasn't that bad. So give it a watch and see. A few people really liked it and kind of liked the new direction they went with it, so maybe you'll actually like it. This movie was one of my favorites as a child too. For some reason my parents always played it, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. I don't know if people just don't know it existed or whatever. It has Jessica Alba. It is called The Eye. So this movie is basically about this blind lady, and she gets an eye transplant from like a dead person, and this person was able to see like ghosts and not demons but like spirits and shit with their eyes. And so when they are in her, she starts seeing crazy shit, and it's a pretty good movie. So I don't know why not very many people talk about it. The next movie, I'm gonna give my little rant here. So I have probably already talked about it, but Hereditary, which came out, is that 2018? I don't even remember, but I am one of those people that is like, Hereditary was fantastic. It was one of the best new horror movies we've ever had. Loved it. And that made me really, really excited for this movie because it is under the same director, and this movie's Midsommar, obviously, if you didn't know where I was going with that. And so basically, Hereditary for me was so unexpectedly good that I actually was like, oh, Midsommar's gonna be fucking great. It's gonna be even better. Like, I was so ready for it. And some of you are gonna hate me because a lot of people like it better than Hereditary, but I was extremely disappointed with it. I like it, and it is on this list for a reason. I liked it. I did like it, but I don't know, it didn't hold the same energy to me. And what I mean by that is, obviously there are two different storylines, but Hereditary stuck with me for literal days. Like, I didn't even know if I liked the movie or not because I felt so strongly about it. And this movie, like, kind of did nothing for me. Like, once I left the theater, I literally was a little bit mad that it was so long, and then I didn't think about it anymore. And so I do prefer Hereditary to this movie a million times. But this movie still was very, very unique. And the trailer even made me super excited because I was like, wow, we've never really had a horror movie go in the direction this one went. So I was super, super stoked to see it. And I'm still glad I saw it. And that's why I'm mentioning it, is it's worth watching for sure because it's so different. It's literally these people that go to this festival. Was it in Sweden? I think it was in Sweden. Don't quote me on it. I sound really stupid because it's like, how do I not know? But I haven't seen the movie in like a while. So they go to this festival, and there's like all this culty shit happening, which is similar to Hereditary in terms of like it's a cult. But there's like some other stuff going on that's even different from, I'm not going to spoil the movie, but there's like a whole different plot to it than just that too. So it's definitely worth watching. It was good. I guess I'm warning you that if you really liked Hereditary, you may not love this movie as much, and that's okay, you know. I think it's actually kind of stupid to go into a movie like how I was being like, oh, it's gonna be great because Hereditary was great. But still, Ari Aster, who's the director, just makes these movies that are so crazy and that we haven't really had anything like before. So definitely watch it. I'm gonna give it props off of that alone. But it wasn't it wasn't horrible. I guess how I'm gonna describe it, what made me like upset during it or like not super happy with it was the movie was very, very long. And with some movies, they don't feel like they're long. This movie felt long to me. I saw it in the theater with my boyfriend, and we literally were kind of just like, both of us said the same thing. We would get out of that movie zone. You know, when you're watching a movie and you're like in the zone, like you're watching it, like nothing really distracts you. Like every 30 minutes, I would start looking around the room and kind of like wonder when this movie's gonna pick up or when it's gonna end. Like, I don't know. And that kept happening. And it just, I guess that alone made it like not a good time. I don't know. I really shouldn't do this when I'm like, hey, here's movies you should watch, and then go on about why a movie wasn't that great. So when I do that, just know I'm still saying to watch it. I'm not saying not to watch this movie, just so you know. And the last movie on this list actually came out not that long ago too. This movie is called Crawl. It is where these, I don't remember if it was crocodiles or alligators, but basically there's a flood in Florida, and this guy and his daughter have to survive these crocodiles or alligators or whatever the hell while this flood is going on. And I was really, really excited to see this movie because crocodiles and alligators and shit like that scares the hell out of me. Like, I don't know, ever since I was a kid, like, they really fucking creep me out. Like, have you ever seen one, like, eat a person, like, on a video or something? It sticks with you. So, this movie I knew was gonna make me, like, oh, it's gonna make me uncomfortable. It's gonna, like, kind of creep me out. And it did. This movie wasn't the greatest thing on earth. It's literally it's self-explanatory. It's alligators and crocodiles, like, trying to eat people. So, storyline-wise, you can't be like, oh, it was the best plot ever, but it was for sure worth watching, and it's just a good creature feature type of movie. So, if you didn't see it in theaters, here's your chance to watch it. And that was the last movie on my list of movies you should watch on Amazon Prime. So, give these movies a watch. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite on this list of movies was. And also let me know if I missed anything. Like, if there's just a movie you're like, Hailey, this movie was fantastic. Let me know. And with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day or night or whatever, wherever you are. And I love you guys so much. I will see you on the next one.